All right, it's recording. Okay, so for those of you not on who have not met Brandy, Brandy Currie is a dear friend of mine, and she is the person who is responsible. I did the hard work, but I wouldn't have known the hard work to do if it hadn't been from lots of questioning from her, lots of conversations, lots of Facebook messengers back and forth about finding my true why. I was very lost when she came to me. And since then I have found my way. I'm still finding and learning new things every day. Everyone knows on here like how I feel more fulfilled, and I quit focusing on those shiny objects, but I am so proud to say that today was my biggest income earning week in a year.
Good girl.
Part about that is I didn't even realize it was. I just was locked in and doing what I know I love to do. So that is my introduction to Brandy. She's a John Maxwell speaker, coach, and trainer, and she's going to be sharing Finding Your Why Power. All right.
All right. Thanks, Lindy. Good afternoon. I'm glad you could join us. And those of you watching from recording, I hope you get a chance to take a peek at this later, and hopefully it will speak to you in some way. As Lindy said, my name is Brandy. I'm not familiar with very many people in this group, so just a little bit about myself. I'm a wife. My husband's name is Kevin. I have 3 littles, 2 little girls, and then my little man, I call him. I'm an athletic trainer, so if you don't know what an athletic trainer is, my degree is in sports medicine. So what I do is work with the active population to prevent, treat, recognize, and then rehab injuries when they get them. I'm also a university professor. I'm blessed enough to be able to teach that thing that I love to do so much to other students as well. And then I am a John Maxwell speaker, trainer, and coach. And doing this is really where my passion is. I love being able to share my heart, and working with Lindy has really given me an opportunity to do more of that, and I'm forever thankful for that. So I'm super thankful you invited me to speak to you today. Like I said, I am incredibly passionate about this topic. I get to talk to you about that thing that gets us out of bed in the morning, the thing that fuels my ambitions and gives me energy. It's my passion and it's my purpose. And I get to talk to you about why, and knowing your why, the value in knowing your why, and the power that comes with knowing what your why is and being able to connect to that on a deeper level. I like to call it my why power. And I hope I can help you think a little bit more deeply about your personal why, and maybe help you uncover your why power. I'm so passionate about this topic because I really believe that each and every one of us has a deep-seated purpose or cause that is our source of passion and inspiration. I think back to dreams that I had when I was little, ambitions that I had, things I knew I was going to do. We all have dreams when we're kids, right? We think about all of these things. Those dreams when we're kids, those are the first seeds of our purpose planted in us. But with time and as life goes on, we sort of lose some of those things, and we end up starting to live this life that maybe we think we should, as opposed to the life that we were truly meant to live. I believe that each and every one of us deserves to fully understand what our why is, to be able to tap into that power so that we can spend our days being fulfilled by what we do. Lindy talked about that word a minute ago. Not just trucking along because it's what we think we're supposed to do, or it's the path that we happen to be on at this moment, but because we're really truly fulfilled by it. So can we just talk about that word fulfillment for a minute? What is fulfillment? If I were going to ask each one of you to define that, we'd probably come up with a few different answers, all maybe a little bit different, but I don't always think that many of those answers really get to the heart of it. And really, fulfillment is what we all want. Many of us would say things like, to be fulfilled is to be happy. But to me, fulfillment is so much more than that. It is so deeper. There are lots of things in our life that make us happy. So in our Beachbody jobs, maybe hitting a new goal that we set for ourselves, or maybe the launch of a new program is something that makes us happy, or maybe when we sign a new client, we get that happy feeling for that. But that feeling that we get with those things is temporary. It doesn't last. When the goal is complete, now what? When the program ends, what do we do in the meantime? When that new client has now become an old client, is that happiness still there? All of those things come to an end. Fulfillment, on the other hand, is so much deeper. It lasts. It comes from being deeply connected to our personal why. Happiness comes from what we do. Fulfillment comes from why we do it. And that's what I'm striving for. That's what I want to share. Fulfillment. It comes from knowing your why and feeling confident that the work that you're doing every single day matters. So I just want to take a minute and ask, do you think you know your why? Do you think you know and fully understand your why? And if you don't want to answer, that's okay, but at least take a moment and think about it. Do you?
I'm wondering if I understand my why. That's why I'm on this call.
Okay. And you know what? My experience is that most people don't really understand their why. There's a lot of people out there that are really unsure. And I hope that with this call today, we are open to digging a little bit deeper into that topic, because my goal is to get that conversation started for you and to help you begin to uncover really what your why is. So we're going to start the process. Dean is hopping on. She says, I'm at work and I can't engage like I want to, but she wanted to be on. So she's listening with us as well. So I want to start the process kind of sharing a little bit of the concept of the golden circle. And this is the work of Simon Sinek, and he's kind of who really got me started on this path. Normally when I do talks like this, I will have a PowerPoint with a couple of pictures, but in a small group setting like this, I don't really like to have a PowerPoint because I like to be able to engage with all of you. But for a moment, I'm just going to share my screen so you can get a feel of what I'm talking about. Okay, so this right here, this is the golden circle. This is Simon Sinek's work. If you have read Start With Why, this might not be a new concept to you, but I'm hoping we can break into this a little bit deeper and get through it. You can see when you look at this circle that why is at the core of it. But let's for a minute talk about those other layers of the circle. If I asked each one of you to tell me what you do, I'm sure all of you could fairly easily do that, right? You would say things like, I'm a Beachbody coach. I help people get on track to being healthy. I motivate and encourage people on their fitness journey. Sound about right?
Yep.
If I asked you to articulate this circle, the how, many of you would probably be able to articulate that pretty clearly too. You would say things like, I run challenge groups to keep people accountable to their goals. I do daily check-ins with people to help them stay on track. I show them the way by being consistent in my own health and nutrition. Sound about right?
Yep.
But if I asked you to talk about this middle circle, this why, that is a lot harder for most people. And that's why Simon designed this circle this way. When we speak, we can very clearly articulate what we do. Many cases we can say how we do it, but 9 times out of 10, we don't even get close to hitting that center ring and understanding actually why we do it. When we move to the next layer and talk about how we do things, when we move from the what into the next layer to talk about how, it becomes fairly easy as we move through that circle. But that inner circle, that why, it is so hard for us to really communicate. And if we do communicate it, it often comes with a lot of emotion, and there's a very good reason for that.
Hey, awesome.
Getting into that why, that requires us to deep dig into who we are. It requires us to pay attention to our emotions, and it requires us to get a little bit uncomfortable. That's why it's buried in the middle of that circle. We communicate.
How are you?
We communicate from the outside of the circle first.
What that means, but
Can I interrupt for 1 sec?
Yeah.
Dawn, can you mute yourself, please? I'm having a squirrel moment.
Can we mute her? I think she's muted now, right? Okay. Yeah, that was a little bit distracting for me too. So I'm glad
I couldn't do it. Okay. Keep going. This is awesome.
So I'm just going to backtrack here a little bit. When we communicate from the outside of this circle first, we do so because that's what's comfortable. Getting to that why is uncomfortable. When people ask us what company we work for, we immediately default to saying what we do. We very rarely get to that core, but my challenge today is to think about that differently. What if we flipped this circle the other way? What if we worked from the inside out? What if we started our conversations with our purpose and not the what? What if we spent time clearly articulating to the people around us what our cause and what our beliefs were? When we do this, this is when the real magic starts to happen. And Lindy is living proof of this. When we start to see the power of our why, that why, that's what speaks to people. It isn't what, it isn't how, it's why. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. When we communicate from the outside of the circle in, when we communicate what we do first, yes, people understand the facts. They get the information. They get the features, but those are not things that drive human behavior. When we communicate from the inside out, we articulate the heart of what we stand for, and we speak directly to the part of the brain that controls decision making. But in order for us to be able to do that, we have to get uncomfortable. We have to try to formulate those words that our brain doesn't really know how to formulate. It doesn't know what to do. That's because this is the part of the brain. When we try to work through this, the part of our brain called the limbic part of our brain, it has no capacity for communication. Our why is housed there. The limbic brain has absolutely zero ability to communicate language. It cannot speak. That's why this is hard. That's why this is uncomfortable. The only thing our limbic brain can do is make us feel. So gut feelings. Who's ever had a gut feeling about something before? We've all had them, right? That feeling in your stomach that just sort of pulls you to a certain decision. You can't explain it. You don't know why you feel that way. That's this. That isn't your gut, guys. That's your brain. That's your limbic brain pulling you to something that is deeply connected with your why. That's what I'm talking about. Those gut feelings that you made, those gut decisions that you made, it's because it spoke to the part of your brain that was connected with your why. It spoke to your purpose. And that's powerful. Knowing this, knowing your why, utilizing that can become your superpower. This is where your success is. Leading with why has a deeper, a much more emotional, and ultimately way more influential value than leading with what ever could. My own personal story in my own life is a perfect example of this. When I was in high school, I knew very early on that I wanted to be an athletic trainer. The first time I worked with an athletic trainer, I knew this is what I wanted to do. And when I got into the job field and I actually started working, it totally reaffirmed all of that for me. It was the best choice I ever made. And you know what? I was really good at it. Before long, people started approaching me and asking me if I would be interested in teaching athletic training and if I wanted to be a college professor. It was hard because I really loved my career as an athletic trainer. And like I said, I was really good at it. I had absolutely no idea if I could ever be successful as a college professor. But I had a gut feeling that it was the right move for me to make. And that gut feeling was right. And that same thing happened to me again recently when I was approached about joining the John Maxwell team. There were 1,000,001 reasons why I should never have done this. But again, my gut kept telling me, do it. It's that thing you just can't sleep at night because it's there. It's pulling at you all the time. My gut was telling me it's where I was supposed to be. And when I look back now, and I know what I know now, and I've invested time in studying Simon's work, those gut feelings, they make perfect sense. Those choices that I was making were in direct alignment with my personal why. It wasn't my gut at all telling me to do it. It was my brain, the limbic part of my brain that can't communicate with me. The only thing it can do is make me feel. None of those choices were easy for me. I had absolutely zero teaching experience. And if you don't know me, I have social anxiety. So the idea of getting up in front of a crowd of people every day and speaking was terrifying for me. The thought of being a John Maxwell coach and being vulnerable and sharing my heart, it scared the heck out of me. But something was pulling me there. With all of those choices that I was making, I had this overwhelming risk of failure. No rational person, if you actually sat down and talked about it out of the rational part of your brain, would ever have made those decisions. They were too risky. And there was no chance that I would know I would be good at it. But my why was way more powerful than anything else. And it won out. My why was stronger because how we feel about something is way more powerful than what we think about it. So it looks like this. Hi, I'm Brandy. I'm a John Maxwell speaker, trainer, and coach. Or, hi, I'm Brandy. Every day, I work hard to add value to the lives of others so that they can see their unique gifts and go share them with the world. So, I'm a John Maxwell speaker, trainer, and coach. Which one of those connected with you? Which one of those statements did you actually feel? That's how this works. When we lead with the facts, it doesn't click in the part of people's brains that makes decisions. But when we lead with why, you feel it. You can feel, physically feel the difference in those two messages. That's how we need to be working through this process. That is the power of knowing what your why is. I was and I am successful with all of these choices that I made because they were fueled by my why. They were in direct correlation with the purpose that has been put in me from a very young age. I had no idea, and I tell people this all the time, my why has never changed, but how it presents does. My why is to add value to people. When I was working as an athletic trainer, I was doing that. I was helping people recognize their injuries. I was able to treat them, and I was able to get them back playing the sports and the games they loved. As a college professor, I get to do that. I get to add value to students every single day and help them learn something that they're excited about. And as a John Maxwell coach, I get to do the same thing. I get to add value to the lives of people every single day. My why hasn't changed, but the opportunity in which I'm able to present it to the world has. I'm successful in all of those things because they are fueled by my why. That certainly doesn't mean that every single time I get up in front of my classroom of students, I knock it out of the park. Or every time I speak to an audience of people, I completely get to the heart of what they want to hear. It doesn't work that way. My students would probably be the first people to attest to that sometimes I just miss the mark. But I have learned that if I work from my sweet spot, if I always try to work from the inside of this circle out, I am always at my best. When I don't, when I lose focus, that's when I fail. When I lead with what instead of why, everything goes fuzzy. My why goes fuzzy and I lose sight of my purpose and I fail. A really good example of this in my life is almost exactly a year ago, I was given an opportunity to speak to a bunch of athletic trainers, a room full of athletic trainers. And the thought that went through my brain was, wow, this is an excellent opportunity for me to get my name out there. And so I went into that talk being fueled by that, by what could come of it for me, not what I could give and the value I could add to them. And I will tell you, that was the worst talk I have ever given. I mean, crickets in the room, people didn't even look up and make eye contact with me. It didn't connect with anybody at all because I wasn't there for the right reasons. I was there for all the wrong reasons, and my why was not leading that message, but what it could do for me was. That is an example of why this is so important. Where you want to go all the things that you want to accomplish in your life, the success that you want to have, it is all centered on being crystal clear about your why. Now, knowing your why might not be the only way to find success. However, it is absolutely the only way to maintain lasting success, to avoid getting into those feelings where you're like, I'm stuck. I don't know where I'm going right now. When why goes fuzzy, it becomes so difficult to maintain growth and the inspiration that will drive your success. Once you know your why and you understand it, you then can back out through the rest of this circle. Once you know your why, you can become clear on your how. And the what's become really easy too. Once you're clear on your why, your cause, and you can define your values, your principles, and you can bring those cause to life, you can hold yourself accountable to those principles. Your why essentially is your belief. Then your hows are the actions that you are going to take to realize that belief. And your what's are the results of those actions. Everything you say and do. This is where consistency comes in. This is something that I watch a lot. Consistency is what speaks, and it's what allows authenticity to come through. Like I said earlier, I have social anxiety, so a lot of my life is sitting back and watching people. And I watch, especially on social media, I watch social media messages. And every day I just want to reach out to people and say, oh, if we could just rewrite that message and center it around your why, it would hit people so much differently. The messages that I see most people writing are on their what, maybe a little bit on their how, but I very rarely feel any emotional connection to the messages I see people putting out on social media. That is where knowing your why becomes so powerful. Once you understand your why, you will clearly be able to articulate what makes you feel fulfilled and be better understand what drives your behavior and when you're at your natural best. When you can do that, you'll have a point of reference for everything else that goes forward in your life. You'll be able to make way more intentional choices for your business, for your career, for your life. All of those social media posts, all of the groups that you run, the events that you host, when they are centered around your why, they become something that carries authenticity, value, and meaning for other people. You will be able to inspire others to work with you and want to join your cause. You no longer have to spend time just sort of hunting and pecking around for the things that you think might work and trying out new things. You know what's going to work because you know how to connect with people. You don't have to keep looking for those opportunities, hoping that just at some point something finally connects. Knowing your why allows you to move forward with intention. I shared this quote in a mastermind group that I'm doing yesterday. The person who knows how will always have a job, but the person who knows why will always be the boss. My goal is to help you guys think about your why differently. Let's create, at the end of this, I'm going to work with you guys a little bit to create a why statement, but I just want to share some experience. When I talk to people about their why, the things that I hear people saying all the time is my kids, my health, my family, myself. None of those things are a why. Every single one of those things is a what. Many of those things that most people say, actually, when we understand this circle, fall into the what portion. Your why is so much deeper than that. The reason that your best friend loves you, the reason that your spouse loves you, the reason that your clients love you, it's all the same reason. Think about it. And it isn't because you have kids or you have a husband or you want to be healthy. It's because of your why. It is so much deeper. And I probe people. When people say to me, my why is my kids, that's not a why. Let's talk about that.
I dumped them. They're gone.
What?
Did you hear? I said, I dumped my kids. They're gone. Thank you for that.
They're gone. Good, good. When people say that to me, it's like my kids or my spouse or my fitness. I'm like, okay, but there's more to that. Like, what about that is driving your behavior? What is it that you want for your kids? What is the message that you're trying to give to them if they're your why? It can't be just your kids. Your kids love you for whatever reason. Your husband loves you for whatever your reason. And it's not because you have kids. It's because of something else. And that's what I want you guys to find. So this next slide I'm going to show with you here a little bit is how Simon Sinek has you formulate why statements. Okay? To blank. And this is where I got mine. Mine was to add value to the lives of people every day so that they can find their unique gifts and share it to the world. Look at it this way. What's your contribution? What is your gift? What is what you give to the world? And what is the impact that it is going to make on the world? When you focus on that and you share that message with the world, people will come to you. And Lindy, I think, is a perfect example of this. When we took her why and we switched it from those shiny things to the fact that she is a person of value who adds value to the lives of others, when she looked into that teacher's heart that she has, and she realizes, I can teach people something that is important to them, that can give them a better life, that's her contribution, and that's her impact to the world. And Lindy will say, she told me this today, I helped more people this month than I have in a while, and I didn't have to use any of those tactics like, it's on sale, or if you do this, I'll send you a free gift. People just came because they felt her and they saw the value that she could add. That's where we need to go. And quite frankly, when I look around at most people, this is not what I see happening. It is so easy to just get stuck in the mundane of doing the stuff. And the easiest thing for us to say is the what. And when we feel like we just have to post because we have to post, we automatically default to what, because the words can come. But if we were a little more intentional about it and we focused on why, gosh, people would just be ready. People would eat up what you have to say. I had this conversation with Sarah the other day, and later that day, she made a post that Lindy messaged me and was like, holy mic drop. And I was like, absolutely. That was her why. She told the world why she was proud of the person that she was. And she dug deep into those emotions. She got into her past. She got into her history. She spoke about things that were of meaning and of value to people. I hope that we can work towards that, because really, nobody deserves to go to work every day and be frustrated and feel unfulfilled. Every single one of us deserves to show up at our job, whatever it is that we're doing, every single day and have fulfillment. And I'm here to tell you, I am living proof of that. Lindy is living proof of that. When you get clear on why you are doing what you are doing, it is fulfillment every day. That doesn't mean that you never have crappy days. That doesn't mean that you don't feel like today wasn't great, but you can still at the end of the day feel good about the work that you did. That's the difference between happiness and fulfillment. Happiness will end. But even if I had a crappy day, at the end of the day, I can go, yeah, but I connected with somebody. Somebody saw the value that I could add. Even if it didn't work out perfectly, I can still be fulfilled in the fact that I did good work that made my heart happy. Okay, I could fill you guys full of fluffy talk all day long, because I love to talk about this stuff. But I don't think I'm doing anybody any value if I just stand here or sit here, as I am, and talk. I want conversation because I want to help you guys dig into why. And I want to help you leave this call today feeling that you have a little bit stronger sense of who you are at your core. And if we can get to the point where we can write these why statements, that's even better. But at least if we can get the conversation started. So if we want to unmute and have conversation, I would love it.
Can we get back to like where we're just seeing each other? Or
Yes,
are we keeping
yes.
this?
Nope,
screwed
I
up?
will stop share. There.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who's on here? If anybody needs to go first, I am not on a timeline. So if Dawn, Dina, Sarah, if you guys got to go.
I don't know if
First,
Dina's
go for
going to
it.
be able to communicate because I think she's at work and just listening in. So I don't know unless she chats. I see there are 7 chat things going on here. Dina says to everyone, I always thought there were a why. It helped tremendously to look at it differently. The other thing that I hear people saying all the time is my why changes. And I don't think that that's true. I don't think your why changes. I think each one of us has one thing. But as with my story, the way in which the message is presented to the world changes. My why has always been to add value to the lives of others. I've been working in different careers where I've done that, but the why has always been the same.
Okay. So I'm going to go since nobody else said anything. All right. So I did a little brain dump. My why has always, when I started, was my family, dump, kids, gone as of today, and financially being able to help my family because my son plays ice hockey, and that's the whole reason why I became a Beachbody coach. It was either that or work at the school district, and they were maxed out at $300 a month, and I knew I could make more with this. So I'm dumping that, I guess, too.
Well, I think we can dig
I
a little
think
bit about that. Go ahead.
okay. So I'm a crier. I'm just going to warn you. I already feel it bubbling up inside of me.
That's emotion. That means we're getting somewhere.
That's that limbic part of your brain you were talking about, I guess. Okay, so what helped me when you just said that is, why do the people closest to you love you, and why do they want to join you? So I thought, why does my husband love me? Why do my kids love me? Why does my mom, why do these people, why do they flock to me? And so I just threw this out there. I'm a huge team person. I don't ever want anybody to feel alone. I want inclusivity for everybody. I always want to be there for people. So I'm consistent, and I've been trained to be consistent because of my personal disease, which is diabetes. I'm the person that's always there. So is that my why? I don't know. Is that a why?
I think you're getting very close. When you said, I want inclusivity and I want everybody to be a part of something, why? And I encourage people all the time, go back to your childhood, because probably there's something there. And then you said, I have diabetes. So maybe there's something with that. Maybe we have struggled with an illness and not always felt like I could do everything I wanted to or be everything that I wanted to, because this was holding me back. And maybe that inclusivity that you want to give to the world is something that you felt you didn't always have. And so I think you are getting very close. I think you are digging deeper into that. And I'm just pulling things out. I would work a lot with you and ask a lot of questions, and I'm not going to be able to just hone in over this in one time, but I really think there's a lot that goes into that. Why is inclusivity so important to you? And actually, what I tell people to do, and I just did it wrong, is when you ask these questions to yourself, don't ask them in a why format, because for the same reason your limbic brain can't articulate them, it's the same thing. So what about inclusivity is important to you? What about being that person that everybody can count on is important to you? What about that makes you feel good?
Well, if I were to put it in emoji world, it would be that little one with the rosy cheeks and just is like this, right? That's me.
Right.
Like, I want everybody to feel that.
Okay.
And I'm a big hugger. I'm a big, hey, that's who I am. And maybe that's what I want with everybody for my team. I just want that. So, okay.
So your why, if I were just going to come up with a statement off the top of my head, is to show people and I'm going to go back to the same words, but you want to show people how they belong in everything all the time so that they feel connected to the world around them.
Okay.
And I just grabbed
No, I love it. Belonging is a huge word too for me. I like to belong to things. Like I've told Lauren, you don't know her, but I've said, if I never had to, use this word, sell another challenge pack or get the tools in people's hands, and I could just be the person at the front of the team saying, welcome, let's go, let's be a part of this, let's do this. That's what I want, but obviously I'm here for another purpose, to help women and men get healthy. But really, that's what I really want.
Okay. Why? I did it again. Why does your purpose have to be to help women and men get healthy? I want to say to people all the time, why is there a box? Like, why is there a box? Get rid of the goddamn box. We don't need a box. Your world as a Beachbody coach can look exactly like you want it to. It can be inclusivity. It can be giving everybody a place that they can be welcome. It doesn't have to be about selling challenge packs and helping people get healthy and fit. It can be about creating a community where people feel like they belong to something, are loved, are welcomed, and get those bright, rosy, happy cheeks every day because they have found their place.
Okay. Yeah, I think that is my deep why. I really do. I never want anybody to feel left out.
And I think if we pushed hard on that, if we went back, there's probably something that made you feel at some point like you were left out, and something clicked in your brain. I don't ever want anybody else to ever feel like that again. And you made it your life's mission to not. And so now my next challenge to you would be, look at the groups you're doing, look at the activities you're doing. Is that message coming across?
Okay.
Because that is what's going to connect with people. I will tell you, every woman on the planet wants to have a group of people that they belong with. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of women that don't have it. And so you have a niche that you can hit. If you know you are the person who at any level can connect with somebody and make them feel welcome and belong, that's something that not a lot of other coaches have. A lot of other coaches have nice fluffy things they can say at the beginning, but not deep rooted or seated relationships where people actually feel that they belong with you, next to you, in your group. That's something that you can offer that not everybody can.
Cool. All right, somebody else go.
I think with Lindy, what I saw and why I reached out to Lindy, and I hope you don't mind, Lindy, but what made me reach out to her is I saw her focus. I knew she felt pressure because she had left teaching, and I knew she felt pressure to maintain a certain level of income so that she didn't have to go back to teaching and she could keep supporting her family. And for a long time, I could see that driving her decisions in what she did and how she communicated and how she put herself out there. And it almost came to a point where, sorry, Lindy, but it looked in some cases as almost desperate. And when I first reached out to her, she wasn't ready to hear me, and that's fine. Not everybody is ready to hear this message. But when she was ready, she really made the changes. She started thinking about, okay, why is that financial piece so important to me? Well, it's because I don't want to go back into that environment, because she felt hand-tied in how she was teaching in that environment. There was too many stipulations. There was too many rules. She felt she couldn't impact the way she wanted to. But if she's in this environment, she can teach on her terms, the way she wants, the lessons that she wants to give, because at heart, she really is a teacher. Her why is to teach people so that they can become what they want to be or do what they want to do. And that looks different. Some days it's teaching them how to meal prep. Some days it's teaching them how to do an exercise move, but it's teaching something of value to somebody. I think if you guys really want to make an impact with the people on your team, these are the questions you need to start asking them. What's your why? Why do you want to coach? What about coaching makes you happy? What about drinking Shakeology do you like? What about being in a challenge group do you like? How does all of this make you feel? Because if you can start doing that with your downline, you will inspire a movement where people will want to discover their why and they will get busy working on it. And remember earlier when I said maybe knowing your why isn't the only way to success? We've all seen it. We've all seen coaches rise to the top and then get stuck. If we can be fueled by that fulfillment of why we're doing it, you never get stuck. You keep going. And really, in the world of what you guys do in MLMs, that's what you want. People who are every day fulfilled by their work because they're going to get up and they're going to keep doing it. And they're not going to quit. They're not going to get frustrated. They're not going to get tired. They're not going to be like, this is too hard. They're going to say, this has meaning for me, and I'm going to keep doing it. But the other thing that comes with that is smash the box. Because I have said this, I used to be a Beachbody coach. I have said this from the beginning. The box that we have put ourselves in does not work for the vast majority of people. You can create your own. Your challenge group does not have to look like anybody else's. Your wanting to connect with people and make them feel like they are a person of value, your challenge groups can look like that. They don't have to look like anybody else's. Lindy has made it a focus point to actually be teaching something of value in each one of her groups. Not just posting to post, but to add value. And I think that that's really important. Dina says, community is huge for me too. Being a part of something. Don't step out of the box. Think of it as if there never was a box. Exactly. Why? Smash that damn thing. Also a huge breakthrough for me. Inspire a movement. That just gave me chill bumps. That's what I want to see as a movement. And I don't want to just see it in the world of Beachbody. I want to see it in the whole damn world because everybody deserves fulfillment in what they do. Everybody. And I just swore twice on a recorded call. You can tell my
you're in good company. You're good. I had another thought. I need to be needed.
Okay.
That sounds really desperate, doesn't it?
No, because mine came from that. I need to be needed too. I get told this all the time, like, stop doing so dang much. You're bio girls, you're doubling your bio girls, you serve on the licensure board, you serve on the state board, you do John Maxwell coaching. Like, why? For me, it's the same. I feel good when I am giving of myself to others. I need to be needed. And that is what started kind of, what was that for me? What in my life made me feel like I needed to be needed? And when I really went back into my history, it became very clear. I had some issues with my family. I have a very competitive sister who can't do anything wrong and is perfect. And there was a lot of stuff attached to that. And so my need to be needed stemmed from that, but it also helped me find my why and my value. I had to dig into those things.
Okay.
I don't think that sounds desperate at all. I honestly think that the vast majority of the people in the world need to be needed at some level.
Yeah, I was actually just typing that. That is when teaching changed for me. I taught right off a reservation with kids who were very needy, and I was not. The teacher was bottom of the list. I was mom. I got called mom. I was nurse, counselor, social worker, things I shouldn't have been. And then when I moved to a more middle class community where I was pretty much just a teacher, and I also had a son, I had no idea what to do. I was just teaching lessons, and it's almost like, and part of that was a fault of my own. I couldn't connect with them on another level. And so I lost that fulfillment piece. And when you think about like what we do as coaches, like I'm oftentimes the first person in people's lives to find out they're pregnant or that they're having marital issues or I don't know, like I don't want to be anyone's counselor, but it oftentimes, I don't know, like it's a natural thing that happens.
And it's because of the way you connect with people. You give them what they need. They need that connection. That, and I've said this, Lindy has heard me say this a number of times, I think that's one of the key things missing in this world of social media. Social media cannot give us that human connection that we need. And I think that is missing a lot. And so when we can actually get out from behind the computer screen and touch people, we really have an influence. We talked about this the other night on my mastermind call, that dopamine hit when you are on your cell phone and you get that ping or that notification or that light. That's dopamine. And that's the same thing that happens when you need a cigarette or you get that drug high or you need a drink. It's a dopamine hit that makes you feel good, but it isn't lasting. It isn't going to help you in the long run. And really, that's what most of us are stuck on right now. We are addicted to this social thing, but it's not real social. It's not real life. And we need to step away from that, I think, a little bit and actually touch some hearts, you know?
Anybody else gonna pipe in here? Because if not, I'm gonna ask another.
Keep asking.
Okay, good. I feel like I'm
Sarah
monopolizing this, and I'm sorry. But I wrote down earlier, my why as a parent is to provide love, life, skill, and patience to my children so they can become happy, healthy, productive adults.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like what my husband and I have always, that's been our mission statement from the get-go with our kids. I just had a brain, like, I can't remember what I was going to say.
Why is that important
It'll
to you?
come back to
create happy, healthy, well-adjusted kids. Oh, I lost her.
No, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
coming.
I just lost your
But
picture.
I don't know what happened to my Zoom. Yeah, I lost picture. So it'll come back to me. Sorry. I forgot.
So I would dig into that a little bit more too. If that's always been your mission with your kids, what about that is so important? What about them having a fulfilling life? What about them having a happy life is important to you? And how does that look? Does that look different to you than it does to them? Because I think that happens a lot too. The picture that you create is not the picture that someone else creates as well.
Well, I do this little thing with my son. I said, let's talk about couple good things, bad things. What do you like about me? What don't you like about me? We do this on the way to hockey. And the things he's always told me he likes about me is that I'm always there for him. Mm-hmm. I'm always there taking him to places. I'm always there supporting him. Even though that's also sometimes a thing he doesn't like about me. Mm-hmm. But, you know, that's why I said I think that has to be part of my purpose, my mm-hmm. why, because I'm always there. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think is the reason that I'm here as a Beachbody coach. I need to be needed. And we're getting into an age here where our kids are going to go. We're empty nesting here in the next couple of years. And that right there, I can't even talk about it. Mm-hmm. Like, it makes me feel like I'm going to die inside. Mm-hmm. That need to be needed is going to go away.
No, it's not. So because it will change.
I know it won't. I know that. And it'll be a different level of need. Mm-hmm. But I think that's how I am with my team and my clients. I invest everything into them. And sometimes I wonder if I put too much mm-hmm. and it scares them mm-hmm. Because not everybody needs that much maybe. But I know that I will never quit coaching because I love that need to be needed. And mm-hmm. whether it's one person a month or 20 people a month, it will still fulfill me and fill my cup, mm-hmm. you know?
The other thing I talk about with Lindy a lot is you got to get the right people on the bus before you can get the bus moving. And so I think we often look at the world in a scarcity mindset, like I need to take this client because there might not be another one for a while. But if we switch our why, we're getting the right people. You need people who need you. Do you know what I mean? So you shouldn't, if you're getting the right people on your bus and on your team, you should never have that doubt that I'm pouring too much into them, because you've attracted the right people who need that from you and relate to that from you and want that from you. Do you know what I mean? John Maxwell teaches us all the time. We just as a world, operate way too much in scarcity. Like there's not enough, but we have to focus our mindset on an abundance mindset. There is way more than enough of everything to go around. And your people are out there, they're looking for you, but you maybe haven't given them the message clear enough to find you yet. And you'll find there are going to be some people on your team right now that maybe don't want that much from you. And maybe they're a better fit somewhere else. And that's okay, because really you want the people who want to drive the bus in the same direction and go the same place as you do on your bus, right? I don't think we need to be afraid of that. But when your message is out there, the right people, they're looking, they're waiting, they're just waiting for you to call out to them, and they come running. I'm here. Please help me.
Awesome.
This has been so good. I know we started our Light the Fire group, Suzanne, with me kind of talking about this. And it's so fun to watch this like starting to come full circle for you. That's what Brandy has done for me. And you don't need to feel guilty about asking the questions you've asked. Sarah, Dina, and I have worked with her on ours and are working with her in a mastermind. I hope people get as much as you've gotten also out of the recording.
Mm-hmm. And this is what I do. Like I said, this is my why. And so if people just reach out to me, I am more than happy to keep these conversations going. This is why God put me here. And if I can in some way give something to somebody where they can say, wow, yes, and they can then go give the person that they're supposed to be to the world, I have done what I'm supposed to do.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. This was awesome. This was a great talk. I felt very engaged, and that was wonderful.
How do we reach out to you personally?
I'm on social. So yeah, you can message me on Facebook. That's probably the best way. I'm open to giving my cell phone number if people want it. I'm not going to give it on a recording with a whole bunch of people, but if you want it, message me and I'll give it to you. I'm totally fine that way too. And if you feel the need to share this with other people, talk to me, because we can keep this movement going.
I'll look you up. I'll reach out. I could definitely use some more guidance and help for sure.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandy. And I guarantee if you would have told me a year ago at this time that I was desperate, I probably never would have spoke to you again because I didn't see it. But I felt that way on the inside, and it was awful because I truly felt this is what I was supposed to be doing. So in November, when you asked me, like, are you sure you really want to be a coach? I was like borderline offended. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, well, maybe I'm not supposed to be, until we dove deeper in the fact that I can still teach. It just looks differently. And where I got lost in life was I didn't have the ability, I didn't think, to teach anymore. So yeah, like,
it's a slippery slope for me because Lindy started a mastermind group with me last year and just kind of disappeared. And I knew she wasn't ready. And so I watched and I waited for a very long time. And honestly, there was probably, I don't know if you felt it, but it felt like tension between us for quite a while. And sometimes that has to happen before you can get to a place where conversation can occur. And I finally saw an opening and I took it. And apparently I offended her a little bit, but I'm glad we got it back.
Well, I know, but I was at the point where I knew I needed to change and grow, and that you were telling me something I probably needed to hear. And I did need to think about that because I wasn't being effective. And it is kind of embarrassing that I was desperate for over a year.
It's
but
not embarrassing.
The only thing that makes me sad about that is all the people I missed out on teaching. I could have been doing this all along, but we aren't told that this is what you do. We're like all coaches. We help people, and helping people didn't resonate with me. I wanted to quit teaching and never go back. And that's what I thought my why was. So this has been, monumentally, if that's a word, helpful to me. And I know that you have helped so many other people. So thank you for doing this.
Yes, I'm reading what Dina just wrote. Both are very suffocating. To quit a job I hate. Oh, both are very suffocating, but I can't operate from that place anymore. It doesn't work. Breakthrough. Yeah, that box, get rid of it. There's no box. And I think, honestly, if I'm completely honest, when you join Beachbody and you start working with a coach, because there isn't great leadership training, coaches can only teach you what they know. And they teach you what works for them, and then it doesn't connect because it doesn't work with you. And so what we need to help our downline do is figure out how to make this work for them. What is their why, and how can they make that present in the world of Beachbody? I mean, I was just told when I started, do this, and it didn't fit with me. It didn't fit with my mind. And it wasn't until I met John Maxwell that my mind changed and I thought of things differently. The law of the lid. Yep. If you're a 5, you're not going to be more than a 5, and no one below you is going to be more than a 5. Can't give what you don't have.
Ooh. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. If you have more questions, you know how to get a hold of Brandy. Thank you guys for being on. I have loved being in this group with you. And have a great day. And I think what Brandy said, I wrote it down about, last thing I'm going to say is we need to be there for the right reasons. So tonight we're going to have all of those dopamine hits. We want our group to be really interactive and engaging and all of, these awesome people sharing. But our mission, we said in this, is that somehow coaching has been the missing piece for us. So tonight, it's not just about filling our teams. It is about helping others find a missing piece that they might have in their life. So that was good insight for tonight. So thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks. It was nice meeting you.
You too.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Lindy, for setting this up.
Yep.